Today, we're diving into a celestial mystery. It's like a cosmic crime scene, really. The main suspect? It just vanished in a brilliant flash of light, leaving everyone scrambling for answers.
So, the big question on everyone's mind this past spring was, where in the world did Comet MAPS go? I mean, this thing was supposed to be a spectacular show, but instead, it pulled the ultimate disappearing act.
And you have to understand, hopes were so high for this one. It was spotted way back in January, which is super early for a comet like this, and that got everybody talking. We were all getting ready for something really special. But instead of a show, poof, it just vaporized.
You know, this is what we were all picturing. A big, bright comet with that classic, glowing tail streaking across the sky. That was the dream, right? But what actually happened to Comet MAPS was, well, way more dramatic and a whole lot more destructive.
All right, so this is where our investigation really kicks off. Seriously, how does a giant ball of ice and rock, something big enough for us to see from Earth, just vanish? Okay, to crack this case, we've got to build a profile of our victim. Turns out, Comet MAPS had a few, let's call them vulnerabilities, that made it a prime target for disaster. So let's open up that case file.
And whoa, the timeline here is short and super dramatic. You've got the buzz starting in January, when it was first spotted. Fast forward to April, it's getting close to the sun, and then it's gone. So what on earth happened in those final moments? Believe it or not, the clues were there from the start. And right here, this is our first huge clue. As astronomers started getting a better look at it, they realized Comet MAPS was, well, dangerously small. And it turns out, when you're making a close pass by a star, size really matters.
We're talking just 400 meters across. Now, I know what you're thinking. 400 meters, that sounds pretty big. But in cosmic terms, for a comet hurtling towards the sun, that's practically a death sentence.
Okay, clue number 2. It's insane speed. This thing wasn't just casually floating through space. No, this was a full-on, high-velocity nosedive right into the most dangerous neighborhood in our solar system. The forces involved were just immense.
Just try to wrap your head around this. Over 500 kilometers per second. That's not per hour, that's per second. At that kind of speed, the comet was being put under an amount of stress that's almost impossible to imagine. It was basically setting the stage for its own destruction.
So, you've got a small comet moving at an insane speed. All the evidence was pointing to one unavoidable conclusion: total annihilation. It was just too small and way too fast to survive its close encounter with the sun.
And yep, that's pretty much exactly what went down. As observatories like SOHO were tracking its final moments, they saw it, a sudden, brilliant flash of light. But this wasn't the comet lighting up for its grand finale. Oh no, this was the beginning of the end. This was the moment it started to completely fall apart. Okay, and this right here, this is the smoking gun. Look at the image on the left. You can see Comet MAPS, a clear, distinct point of light, heading right for the sun. Now look at the right. After its pass, there's nothing, just a faint cloud of dust where a comet should be. And this is so important to understand. It didn't just melt, it didn't just burn up. The core, the nucleus itself, completely disintegrated. It got hit with the ultimate 1-2 punch. The sun's insane heat, combined with its massive gravitational forces, just ripped it to shreds. But that leads to a bigger question, right? Why was this comet on a suicide mission to begin with? Well, it turns out Comet MAPS was part of let's say a family with a very, very dangerous history.
It's a member of something called the Kreutz group. And this isn't just some random group of comets, no. They're all thought to be the scattered fragments of one absolutely enormous comet that broke apart more than 1,000 years ago. And every single member of this cosmic family is destined to follow the same dangerous path, getting terrifyingly close to the sun.
And in this family, it really is survival of the fittest. The small guys, the little fragments, like our Comet MAPS, they almost never make it. They get destroyed. But the big ones, the really big chunks, like the Great Comet of 1882, they're tough enough to survive the trip. And when they do, they can put on some of the most incredible shows we've ever seen from Earth. So, you want to know how to destroy a comet? Here's the recipe. First, you let it sit in the deep freeze of space for a few billion years. Then you send it on a high-speed nosedive straight at the sun. The outside heats up incredibly fast while the inside stays frozen solid. That extreme temperature difference, it's called thermal shock, creates huge stress inside the comet. Add the sun's gravity pulling it in different directions, and kaboom, it shatters.
So yeah, we didn't get the amazing light show we were all hoping for. But the demise of Comet MAPS wasn't a total loss. In fact, studying its dusty remains has taught us an incredible amount.
You see, by watching these comets die, we get a front-row seat to see just how extreme things are near the sun. We get to test what these ancient ice balls are made of, what holds them together. Every single time one of them disintegrates, it's like finding another piece of a giant cosmic puzzle, helping us figure out the story of that huge parent comet from so long ago.
And honestly, this is the really exciting part. Just a few decades ago, a small comet like this would have come and gone, and we would have never even known it was there. But now, our technology is finally good enough. We have these amazing observatories that can spot these tiny objects early, letting us turn their final fiery moments into priceless scientific lessons.
And all of this leaves us with one last kind of mind-blowing thought. The case of Comet MAPS might be closed, but it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many more of these fragments are out there right now, silently speeding through space on their own one-way trip, heading for a spectacular, fiery end?